Hello everyone, it's Oliver Harbour here, back for a new Q&A, and the first question comes from Niall. Hi Oliver, what is your favourite Commodore Amiga game? Any news on the last Action Doc? And would love your retrospective take on the more Bond films, especially View to a Kill and Octopussy. Favourite Amiga game? Well, I didn't grow up with Amiga, I didn't own one, my friends had one. I could never afford the Amiga 1200 or 500. But over the years, I've emulated the Amiga and obviously played the games on my friends when I was a kid. I really enjoyed Speedball 2, but more recently, I think Space Crusade is the one. That's one game I keep going back to. I mean, there's classics where they sort of updated Commodore 64 games onto the Amiga, like the last Ninja games, which are really good. But I mean, there's loads of things like Cannon Fodder. There's so many Amiga games, isn't there? There's so many classics. But I think Space Crusade is the one that sort of keeps me coming back to play that system. In terms of news on the updates on the last Action Doc, go to Indiegogo. But if you had backed the project, make sure you've completed the survey so I can get the correct names and addresses. So at the moment, I'm completing the end credits, so I need people's names, how they want to be credited, so I can get it done ASAP. In terms of 007 retrospectives, I do want to continue doing those, but I just haven't had the time. And also with Bond films, it can be based on timing as well. So when the new film comes out, I mean, it's not till next year, so I will do more before then, but it's often best to sort of time these things with like a new film coming out. I still need to continue some of the commentaries and probably restart some of them with Mark O'Connell, but Mark's been busy and I've been busy. So I think once this action documentary is finished, which is very, very close to now, then I can get back to sort of normality with the channel and not be continuously promising things that aren't going to come out for months, ahead of time. So I need to sort of get that done so I can focus on entertaining you guys on a more regular basis. Next question is from Frederick. Hello Oliver, hope you had a nice vacation. I did indeed. Where in the world would you love to travel if money wasn't a concern? Which video game platform do you consider to be the best there ever was? Have you ever watched the TV series Babylon 5? And if so, what do you think of it? Thanks mate. If I had the money, I would probably go to somewhere like Japan, take an extra suitcase and then just stuff it with laser discs or import video games. Probably China as well. I'd love to go to the Forbidden City. That was featured in The Last Emperor, that movie from the 80s. China would probably be the best bet for me. Or maybe New Zealand. My friend Timon Singh just went out there for his birthday. Got to visit the Lord of the Rings sort of Hobbiton place and Weta Studios. I was like, yeah, so jealous. I'd love to go there. But yeah, it's a very, very, very long flight. I've been 10 hours on a plane and it's horrible, but it's nearly a whole day on a plane. I don't think I can stomach that. I just get so bored and your bum would just like be so numb after a while. In terms of video game platforms, it's a tough one. It is really tough. I would probably say my favourite, though, out of all of the consoles, the one I had the most fun with was the Sega Saturn. Babylon 5 I never saw. I saw bits of it, of course, but my old housemate when I lived in Cambridge, he was obsessed with Babylon 5 and was always watching it. And I sort of come in and would have a sneaky joint, and then I'd watch a few episodes with him. But I do remember the early sort of trivia about the show was that a lot of the visual effects were done on the Commodore Amiga. Crazy. Next question is from Omar. Hi Ollie, hope you had a nice holiday. Question number 1, have you seen the trailer for Doctor Sleep and are you getting The Shining on 4K? Sorry if I've asked this question before. Yes, I saw the Doctor Sleep trailer. It does look very interesting. Hugh McGregor is a great actor. I'm not sure if the film's going to have the same impact as the original film. Is it going to be like the book, like the sequel book Stephen King wrote in 2013? Or is it going to be the director's interpretation of that? And then Stephen King would be very annoyed by it, like the original film. I think it's got a lot to live up to in terms of expectations, which is unfair to the movie. I mean, it can't exist without being compared to the original and Kubrick's vision. for that film, but it's, we'll see in the coming months, I suppose. But also with the 4K release of The Shining, I'm not sure at the moment. I do really like that movie. The Blu-ray is such a great transfer. I mean, with The Shining being shot on 35mm, and Stephen King was an incredible visualist and great with the camera. I'm sure it looks stunning in that resolution. I'll probably wait for it to drop in price. I mean, I wait for those sort of like deals where it's like buy 2 for 30 or something like that, then get hold of it. Question number 2, what is your favourite horror film of the 1990s? I didn't have to think too hard about this. It's probably Event Horizon. That was the one that really fucked me up. When I saw it, I was like, sort of terrified when you sort of, you see all the scenes of this people being tortured and stuff, the quick flashbacks, and when I did the review of it, a number of years ago, just trying to create those montages, and you're sort of looking at that imagery, it just sort of gets stuck in your head. And when I went to sleep, I was like, having sort of weird dreams. Sorry if you can hear knocking. My neighbours next door, they're away at the moment, but they've got the builders in, and they're just sort of doing up their bathroom. There's so much bloody noise. Question number 3, are you going to review Ad Astra? I saw the film last night. I quite enjoyed it. It was visually stunning. Great score, really good performances, great visual effects, but it is a very odd film in terms of the characters aren't particularly likable. Everyone's very cold in the movie. It was a kind of strange experience. It was like watching a 70s film. I think it was probably the director's intent. I think it was a sort of production design. You see like sofas and stuff with 70s kind of decor. You don't really sort of tell where it is in the future. It's kind of near future. I'm not sure if I'm going to review it. I just don't have the time at the moment. But that's not my mini review of it. If I give it like a rating out of 5, it'll probably be 3.5 stars out of 5. Some people said it was one of the best films of the year, one of Brad Pitt's best performances, and then some other people saying it's incredibly dull. I'm kind of in the middle of that. It can border on to being a little bit dull, but also extremely interesting. So yeah, it's a weird film, put it that way. Next question is from Andre. Hey Ollie, what's your favourite parody of 80s action movies? I think it's a close tie between Loaded Weapon 1 and Hot Shots Part 2. That's a good question. I would probably say Loaded Weapon 1. The music's wonderful with that. It's a great jazzy score, like completely aping Michael Kamen. I love that score as well. It's just like, I think there's a track of it on YouTube, but I don't think they released a soundtrack at all. Most sort of comedy films didn't around that time. And so many great gags. The first 15 minutes are incredible. It does kind of lose its momentum a little bit, but I think it's consistent throughout and doesn't outstay its welcome. It's just under 90 minutes or less. I think maybe about 80 minutes. It's a film I still want to review. Hot Shots Part 2 as well has got some great stuff in it. Yeah, I think they both have their plus and minuses, but I think Loaded Weapon 1 just slightly takes the lead. Next question is from Mark. Hi Ollie, what are your top 5 favourite movies of the 2010s? Have a good one. I do get asked this question quite a lot, but I never really sort of give a definitive answer. Usually, my top 10 films of the year. I don't really do those sort of lists, but for you, there's 5 I've thought of, but these aren't sort of definitive. This is Oliver's top 5 favourite, movies of this past decade, whatever. But these are ones I quickly thought of, which I thought were very good. The Dark Knight, Nightcrawler, Mad Max Fury Road, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and OJ Made in America. So there's tons more I can think of, probably something like, The Nice Guys. But yeah, those are the ones that sort of sprung to mind when reading your question. And the final question is from Lee. Hi Oliver, if you could travel back in time during the silent film era, which actor / or director would you want to meet? That's a tough one. I'm sure you've asked me a question before about the silent era, and I'm completely always like, I don't know. I put down Fritz Lang and Metropolis, so I would love to meet that director and sort of see how the visual effects were done for that movie. All those great miniatures for the time, it was just mind-blowing. And it's a film I've kind of seen in segments. I've not seen all the way through. It's always it's always a movie that's always discussed in terms of science fiction genre, in terms of important movies of the history of cinema. So yeah, that would be the one film I would have to sort of see how it was made and the director's intent behind all that. I mean, there's other things like Charlie Chaplin and things like that, but something that would definitely appeal to me would be science fiction and that's the one movie that inspired many others. Okay, well, that is the end of the Q&A. A very quick one this month. Obviously, if you missed out on the Q&A, please leave your questions for the next Q&A in October. I'll post it on Patreon. You can just leave your comments. So yeah, over the next few days, I'm going to be finishing up the action documentary. It should be done my end by the end of next week. So everything's locked in, music, credits, done, boom. So I can be free from the shackles of editing. Then I'll be cracking on with the Incredible Hulk. So I've obviously done the trailer for it, but the review won't be finished till the week after because that's the main focus at the moment. But after that, I did do a podcast recently with another patron of mine called Tim Rooney. He has his own radio show, podcast show. I'll put a link below. I did an interview with him, and I discussed sort of the documentary and what I was doing, and I did reveal that I will be covering American Psycho for October. Probably another movie as well, so there's not just one horror-related movie for that month. But yeah, so I've got a lot of work to do. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of stress. But I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you all soon. Okay, everyone, take care, and goodbye.